Okay, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to higher praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Rakakudas. Give honors to the elders, sing honors to the apostles of the great millstone, and sing honors to all the apostles as well, and like-minded camps, affiliates, preaching the same things. So without any further ado, we're just going to get into this lesson here, going into this third world war, once again. And there's a lot going on. Start with this article here, or scripture here. And I'm gonna start with Revelation 11 and 14. And the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Yes, this is coming quickly. As we saw, the U.S. attacked Iran, and then Iran retaliated. This happened on, so this started on February 28th, 2026, with a massive coordinated surprise attack. The escalation was triggered by the following key events: collapse of diplomacy. The strikes followed the failure of indirect nuclear negotiations in Geneva. Despite reports of progress, the U.S. and Israel concluded that diplomacy had been exhausted, and Iran's nuclear program posed an imminent threat. Joint military operations, code-named Operation Roaring Lion by Israel and Operation Epic Fury by the U.S. The assault involved over 1,200 bombs dropped in the first 24 hours. Targets included military infrastructure, nuclear facilities, and senior leadership. Assassination of top leadership. A critical turning point occurred when an Israeli airstrike killed Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in his Tehran compound. Dozens of other high-level officials, including the defense minister and the commander of the Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC), were also reported killed. Stand objectives: President Donald Trump declared the operation's goals were to destroy Iran's missile and nuclear capabilities and to encourage the Iranian people to take over their government. Immediate response: Iran immediately retaliated by launching hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones at Israel and U.S. military bases across the Middle East, including facilities in Qatar, Kuwait, and the UAE. The conflict has since widened with Hezbollah in Lebanon also launching attacks in retaliation for Khamenei's death. Yeah, so that was a whole rundown on this whole situation, and it's still ongoing. As of March 2nd today, the intense coordinated U.S.-Israeli strikes against Iran, Operation Epicurus, are continuing, targeting hundreds of sites to destroy Iranian missile capabilities. While Iran launched over 137 missiles and 209 drones as on February 28th to 29, the retaliatory capacity appears to be decreasing due to effective joint U.S. last Israeli strikes. So Iran right now is getting their ass beat by U.S. and Israel. Because U.S. is still a very big superpower. And if no one steps in and helps Iran, Iran's definitely gonna get their asses beat and defeated. So Russia better run and help their buddy, or China, which China's really a bitch. I think Russia's more apt to want to go and pick up their buddy Iran and throw some missiles at some big deal missiles, heavy D missiles at fucking U.S. right now. Yeah, so Iran's getting their ass beat right now. Looks like that's what's going on. While they're still shooting missiles at Iran right now as we speaking. Unless AI is lying here, mistaken, then I don't know. The U.S. and Israel launched major strikes on February 28th, targeting over 1,000 Iranian military, nuclear, and command sites, including those in Tehran and Isfahan. Continuing operations, President Trump and Israeli officials have indicated that the offensive is ongoing, with no immediate timeline, aiming to fully neutralize Iran's ballistic missile capacity. Iranian retaliation. Iran has retaliated by firing drones and ballistic missiles toward Israel and U.S. bases in the Gulf region, though many have been intercepted. Reduced effectiveness. Reports suggest Iranian retaliatory capacity has diminished. With significantly fewer, less coordinated attacks on March 1st compared to February 28th, indicating success in degrading their launch abilities. Yes, once again, Iran is showing weakness in the long run with this recent conflict right now. So Iran's really looking like a bitch right now. And Russia ain't stepping in, nobody else is stepping in, so this could just be the end for this one. The conflict has expanded to include renewed strikes in Lebanon by Israel and attacks on civilian infrastructure in the Gulf. Yeah, so that's the updates on this. This article here reads: Israel expands offensive with new wave of coordinated strikes in Iran and Lebanon. It's March 2nd. Known as Operation Epic Fury, President Donald Trump warned Iran against retaliation following a series of attacks during which Ayatollah was killed. And they got NATO helping them out as well. President Donald Trump warned on Sunday against Iranian retaliation over the U.S. and Israeli strikes. He said that if Iran were to hit very hard, they would be met with a force that has never been seen before. And that's what I just mentioned there, what AI talked about there. How Iran ain't really they ain't hitting as hard as when their first strike. Hundreds of missiles they shot all around that bitch. So they're looking weak and they're still getting attacked. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here. See what Russia has been done. What has Russia done or said about this? In response to the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran beginning February 28, 2026, Russia has strongly condemned the military actions while explicitly ruling out direct military intervention. The Russian Foreign Ministry officially labeled these strikes as a pre-planned and unprovoked act of armed aggression. Accusations of regime change. Moscow accused Washington and Tel Aviv of using concerns over Iran's nuclear program as a cover for an illegal attempt at regime change. Warning of catastrophe. Russia warned that the attacks risk a humanitarian, economic, and potentially radiological catastrophe in the Middle East. UN Security Council action. Russia, alongside China, requested an emergency meeting at the United Nations Security Council to demand an immediate ceasefire and return to diplomacy. God. Military and strategic position. Russia said Russia's commitments to Tehran did not include direct military intervention in a U.S.-Iran conflict. And limited material support. Analysts noted that Russia's ability to provide significant military aid is constrained by its ongoing war in Ukraine. Yep. So we'll see how this goes. I thought we probably thought that I didn't think that anything was gonna happen really, but I'm surprised it's actually U.S. actually. I'm surprised that U.S. attacked Iran. I wasn't expecting that, and I'm surprised Russia didn't step in the scene. But I guess it's because they're already using so much of their material, military power on the Ukraine front lines. So we'll see how this goes for Iran. We'll see what happens next. It's already started though. Basically, it's already started, and due to prophecy, just based off prophecy, going off prophecy of Yahweh Shem Shai, it's already started. This war and whatnot. So the least of the flock shall draw them out. This is Jeremiah 50:45. It says the meaning. The phrase implies that the destruction of Babylon will be absolute. Once again, that's prophecy. Babylon is America. That's prophecy. As destruction is absolute. And the least of the flock, that means that it's already started. Israel is the least of the flock. It's least of the flock, meaning it's a little nation. It's a small nation. It started war. It's bringing them destruction. It's going to bring them desolations. Anyway, it says right here, the phrase implies that the destruction of Babylon will be absolute. even accomplished by the weakest or youngest members, yet the least of the flock is it's Israel, little Israel over there, of the attacking army. It is part of the prophecy concerning the fall of Babylon and the liberation of Israel and Judah. That's the point. Here's the scripture though, Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Bashmashai he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath posed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Con. Yeah, buddy, so that's what that is there. Yeah, once again, live updates. Trump warns Iran about larger strikes as U.S. urges Americans to depart region. And here, U.S. Atakim's missile strike destroys Iranian Solfagar ballistic missile and Sayyad 2 air defense system. Yep. Iran's getting their asses beat right now. And Russia ain't helping. They haven't stepped in. They've only said a few words that it's fucked up and that it's all the it was all missile nuclear negotiations. They said it was just a cover up for Israel and U.S. to attack them. And yeah, well, they can't help because it's not in their contracts to help Iran for that. So U.S. has stepped in Iran. So they show that the U.S. just show that they ain't really bitches. So they have stepped in Iran, and Russia ain't stepping in yet. At least not yet. Russia ain't stepping in, and China, obviously, North Korea, obviously, they ain't gonna step in. They're not. They don't. It doesn't look like they're going. I don't believe they're going. They really care to help Iran right now as well. So. I mean, that's really the point. Read some of this. How many warships does Iran's Navy have? On February 28th, 2026, the U.S. So it's not like how what brothers probably would have thought years ago. Israel just got fucked up, and U.S. They're good right now. They're whipping Iran's ass. China ain't stepping in. Russia ain't stepping in. So it's not how we thought it would happen as well. So brothers were wrong on that. I was wrong on that. But it might just escalate though. This might just escalate due to prophecy. We know it's gonna escalate. And Iran might not even make it to the third whoa. But Russia's still gonna be there. And you still got China. Still got North Korea. And this we believe this is the very beginning of it though. Right here. This is the beginning of it. World War III technically is already started. But yeah, brothers are wrong on that. Apparently U.S. ain't no bitch. And they did step in Iran just now, and just because they stepped in Iran just now doesn't mean World War III doesn't mean World War III has started on that level. It's not how it's gonna happen. But Iran's probably gonna get their ass destroyed, and their military power shortened. But we'll see how Russia steps in soon, because some way or another, Revelation 17 will be fulfilled. America being destroyed, and these other nations soon stepping inside the land of America. Anyway, it's February 28th. Reads in the scripture. How many warships does Iran's Navy have? On February 28th, 2026, the United States and Israel launched a combined offensive against the Islamic Republic of Iran, dubbed Operation Epic of Fury. The conflict quickly spread throughout the Middle East as Iran retaliated against U.S., Israeli, and allied targets in the region, resulting in several military and economic impacts in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is not a landlocked nation, as its borders the Persian Gulf to the south and the Caspian Sea up to the north. It also doesn't lack a navy, with the Islamic Republic of Iran Navy Iran functioning. Goddamn. Yeah, I'll say that later. Functioning as a branch of the military alongside the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC Navy. These forces imply. That's really nothing. This is in total, the Iran has more than 100 vessels and over 18,500 personnel, according to estimates from 2025. The RIGC Navy operates as asymmetric warfare vessels of various kinds, amounting to around 45 or more smaller warships. Combined, Iran operates some 145 plus military combat vessels and hundreds of smaller watercraft, and it's likely that they're all in play in the conflict. Much of its strength lies in the fast attack watercraft that are designed to breach the perimeter defenses of larger vessels and to swarm and attack. This isn't all that Iran has floating on or under the water's surface, as there's also a small fleet of diesel-powered submarines. Iran doesn't have any nuclear submarines, but that doesn't mean that its fleet of subs isn't potentially dangerous throughout the region. The Tariq-class Russia-made third-generation submarines used by the Iran can launch cruise missiles and lay mines and sink ships. So why did the U.S. attack Iran? What's their end game? It says right here, Trump said right here, military objective to this, why the U.S. and Israel is attacking. President Trump stated right here, he stated the goal is to make Iran incapable of posing a threat in the future, with strikes intended to continue until objectives are met, potentially lasting weeks. Regional impact. The conflict has resulted in significant destruction of Iranian air defense and naval vessels, with the U.S. and Israel achieving near total air superiority. The situation remains fluid and highly unpredictable as of the latest reports. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Iran looks like it's about to get destroyed completely, wiped out. Let's see, will Iran be wiped out? Let's see what AI says. Based on events beginning February 28th, the U.S. military campaign is heavily targeting Iran's leadership and missile infrastructure, killing high-ranking figures The Supreme Leader once again in severely damaging defense capabilities while outgunned and facing severe pressure. Iran's military retains substantial hidden missile capabilities and continues to retaliate. Yeah, so we don't know what Iran might have or may not have yet as well. They could just be waiting. And obviously their military is having talks. They might be planning something and having talks about something. Targeted destruction. The U.S. and Israel are targeting Iran's missile launchers, missile cities, and military leadership, aiming to cripple their ability to launch major attacks. Leadership vacuum. Reports indicate the death of Supreme Leader, with the regime initiating processes to elect a new leader. The retaliation capabilities. Despite strikes, Iran continues to launch retaliatory strikes from concealed mountain sites, suggesting its ability to strike back, though perhaps with diminished coordination, has not been entirely eliminated. So Iran still has some sites, they'll have some weapons left. They may have something big being kept back for now, and they could use that, and then that can buy them some time to make it through the year. They might make it through the year. We don't know. Iran looks like it might just get its ass wiped out. From what it looks like right now, Iran has targeted, but we know this is gonna lead to something bigger, something major, as it says in Revelation 11:14. The third woe is gonna come quickly. Even if they get wiped out, you still got Russia and you got other nations with missiles, weapons, and stuff that will be enough to take out America or to fulfill Revelation 17 and 16. But I'm gonna keep reading here with this. Regional conflict. Iran has targeted surrounding countries and regional oil facilities. Regime resilience heavily pressured, and analysts previously noted that Iranian government is a hard target and has survived prior several internal crises. Yeah, so it's up to the Lord if they survive or not to keep them for a future major role in destroying America or teaming with Russia to continue to escalate this prophecy here, this third war prophecy. But I'm surprised once again. I'm surprised, and I'm sure brothers are surprised that Russia didn't step in. We thought Russia would step in. I'm surprised this happened this soon. As well, but we'll see. Let's see how this year ends, or upcoming year may end. And it's spiritual because soon we're gonna be in our Passover, and this happened with as this new solar eclipse is gonna happen, or whatever it's called. I'll get that later in a minute. I'm gonna just finish this here. While heavily pressured, they said noted Iranian government. Analysts previously noted Iranian government is a hard target and has survived prior several severe internal crises. The conflict is ongoing, and whether it will result in a total wiping out of the state, that's what I asked, remains uncertain, but it has caused significant damage to its leadership and infrastructure. Let's see if it gets wiped out or not. We'll see. But it's no coincidence this is happening while there's a major omen sign, a name sign in the sky right now. I saw a video on this. So this is happening as this sign is happening. Then again, these elites also go off signs and stuff for the left hand. And this war is still a staged war. Once again, Iran knows it. Their supreme leader, I don't believe he's actually dead. He ain't dead. He ain't get assassinated. Trump knows that. But this is a war they want to bring. So more than likely, Iran ain't gonna get wiped out. Depends on what these elites want, because they're running things through prophecy. The Lord's allowing them to call the shots.
The amount of... I believe something very bad is getting ready to take place. The amount of coincidences that align with this lunar eclipse are literally impossible.
Yeah, you got this lunar eclipse. I'm gonna get an article on there, some information on that. This new lunar eclipse. This is happening while this lunar eclipse is taking place once again. This article from space.com. What equipment do you need to observe the total lunar eclipse tomorrow, March 3rd? Today is still the 2nd. Still is the 2nd. This stupid phone can work. It says tomorrow's blood moon can be seen, so it's a blood moon as well as a lunar eclipse. Lunar eclipse is when the moon is turns dark. And it's a blood moon. They're calling it the full warm moon. Will slip into Earth's shadow and turn a strange copper reddish color for 58 minutes. To the naked eye, it will be a beautiful sight, with the full moon's light extinguished as a blood moon. Sits in the dark sky. However, if you want to get... Yes, that's what it is. I just want to describe what it was, how it's gonna look, and when it's gonna happen. Okay, so a lunar eclipse is basically it's not the sun blocking the moon, but rather the Earth blocking the sun's light. The Earth blocking the sun's light. It's when the sun is in between, passes directly between the sun and the moon. So it's the Earth blocking the sun's light from reaching the moon. Yeah, and there's the last one that happened around this time last year. Happened on our Passover. I think it was a similar. It was a blood moon. Yeah, and then the difference between that last one and this one is that after this one, you ain't gonna have another one. Until New Year's Eve of 2028. And last year featured 2 lunar eclipses, one in March and one in September. And this is gonna be the only one for this year, basically. Which after this one's gonna start the gap for the. It's gonna start the 3-year gap. So the next one. But let's go back to this video here.
You eat this every... Do you realize how crazy... Very bad is getting ready to take place. The amount of coincidences that align with this lunar eclipse are literally impossible. So this lunar eclipse will reach its peak at 3:33 a.m. on March 3rd. That just happens to be the first day of the celebration of Purim. A celebration from when the Hebrews were spared from Persia, which is modern.
And I thought it was interesting that he said that, because I'm pretty sure that already passed, but it still kind of still does represent the Jews' liberation at the time from Esther, from the Agag, the Amalekite, Agag, I think. And that fits perfectly though with the times we're in right now.
Iran.
It's Iran.
Shut up. And what's about to happen right now with Iran. And of course, Iran is allegedly holding Americans hostage now. The Bank of America mural. We know that Trump was born on a lunar eclipse, on a blood moon. We know that Trump is, in fact, the moon child. And they're saying he'll make his attack by Monday. And speaking of this moon child, they're now saying that they're entitled to run for another term. Remember when he said, like, you beautiful Christians, just vote this last time and you won't have to do it ever again? What was that about? Monday being the day of this lunar eclipse and also the day of Purim. And remember, Purim, again, the celebration of the Hebrews not being annihilated by Persia. Or Iran. To top it off, we have articles coming out saying they're so sure an earthquake happened the day of Jesus' crucifixion. We just had like 5 earthquakes in South Carolina. Not normal. Of course, mud volcanoes going off everywhere, 2 or 3 already. The earth shaking everywhere, the human frequency being crazy, of course. The output of the mass and density in our environment because these celestial movements. And guess what? It gets even crazier. I mentioned the articles about the earthquake at the crucifixion. Well, also, they say that Jesus was crucified on April 3rd, 33 AD. And the eclipse, which was recorded by Gong Wu, the Chinese emperor, like hundreds or thousands of miles away from Jesus, the crucifixion, where he wrote.
And whether that's true or not, it's very possible. Because how shot did die on the Passover, which would be around that time. It has a lot to do with, basically he's saying this moon has a lot to do with biblical prophecies, biblical references. The day of Purim, the Jews being liberated. There's no coincidence right now Trump is fulfilling prophecy. How we explain it on the right hand side, Trump's fulfilling prophecy. The elites on the left hand, those of the elites of the left hand side would probably say he's fulfilling their prophecy. But in our eyes, he's fulfilling the Lord's prophecy. On the right hand, once again, it's the left and right to everything. Yeah, that's basically what he's saying. These are biblical references. Trump, even though Trump is wicked and he's a Edomite, being born on the blood moon as well. And right now, this happened during him in office, this blood moon. It is a sign from the Lord though that he's where he's supposed to be, and we believe it's not a coincidence. We believe he's gonna fulfill what the scriptures say.
I believe something. Everything is coming together perfectly right now. Oh, real quick, mention the articles about the earthquake at the crucifixion. Well, also, they say that Jesus was crucified.
He also mentioned 5 earthquakes happened in South Carolina
On April 3rd, 33 AD. And the eclipse, which was recorded by Gong Wu, the Chinese emperor, like hundreds or thousands of miles away from Jesus, the crucifixion, where he wrote that yin and yang switch. There's an eclipse, and that one man died for the sins of all of humanity. Everything is coming together perfectly right now. Oh, real quick, by the way, the long version of this video is on YT for things I dare not speak here. And the entire earth feels it. Do you think the US will attack Iran by Purim? And if it does that mean there's something subliminal right there? Remember the last...
Yeah, and they've already been attacking Iran. They're still attacking Iran. This guy doesn't know.
Eclipse in Persia? Is this mural about to out? Written along Persia? Do you think the US will attack Iran by Purim? And if it does that mean there's something subliminal right there? Remember the last eclipse in Persia? Is this mural about to come alive? Is this what... it's all about? Written a long time ago. I believe something very bad.
Yes, and their elites on the left, their priests on the left hand also study the stars and shit. They might have just knew that and have this. It shows you that the elites know what dates, the days of when major shit like this is gonna happen. So that's the point. I'm gonna close out with this precept right here. Joel 2 and 31. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. And guess what? Fuck your elites too and their priests, left-handed priests too, because the Lord also uses signs and wonders from the sun, moon, stars, events to fulfill His will to represent His purpose, His plan. Just like the little moral there on the painting there, they show you Trump. Behind him a pyramid, the red and white checkered board, Masonic sign. I'm not sure when that was painted.
For y'all in the end. Do you realize you eat this? I believe something very bad is
Some moral here you referenced.
something subliminal right there. Remember the last eclipse in Persia? Is Muriel about to come alive? Is this
Yeah, this mural here.
what it's all about? Written a long time ago. I believe something very bad out written a long time ago.
Let's see this here. Yeah, so because they call Trump a moonchild, which I believe is also a phrase that these wicked people use about something. I'm not sure about what it might mean. Born on 1946.
Child. All right, so number 3, Aleister Crowley's June 14th, 1946 letter about the moon child. All right, so let's now take a look at a letter from the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley to his student Grady Lewis McMurtry that just so happens to be dated June 14th, 1946, Trump's birthday, of course. So in the letter, he mentions that NASA pioneer Jack Parsons and Scientology founder Ron Hubbard, again taking ideas from Crowley himself, are attempting to produce a, quote, moonchild, or moonchild with a space there, depending how you want to spell. All right, so here, we'll get to the letters soon. So Jack, Ron, and the Goat, here's a letter from Crowley to Grady McMurtry dated June 14th, 1946, E.V, or Era Vulgaris, which is pseudo-Latin for common era. All right.
And you can go watch this whole video yourself. I just wanted to look up that reference in Trump and shit. And so that's a letter from Aleister Crowley.
All right, so
A letter about the moon child. And I believe that phrase comes from Aleister Crowley as well. In this video, I go over the bizarre cult rituals by NASA pioneer Jack Parsons and Scientologist L. Yeah, because all your heads and these major organizations, CIA, sex, they're in league with the secret societies. Like Bush and the Bush family, they had ties with the Skull and Bones, which was part of the Yale Secret Society of Yale, which helps put their members in elite roles in the higher governments. Hence why Judge Baby Bush's father was a CIA, the head of the CIA before becoming president. And then Osama bin Laden too. His father was very rich and already had ties and connections with Bush Senior. Scientologist L. Ron Hubbard in attempts to produce a magical being called the Moonchild, in which many may say somehow be none other than Donald J. Trump. According to the infamous sources, Aleister Crowley's Thelma religion, the Moonchild is a magical being produced from impregnating a woman by the goddess Babylon in order to help or save humanity. Parsons and Hubbard undertook a series of rituals called Babylon, working from January to March 1946 in hopes of producing this being. While no child was said to be born, nonetheless Parsons said it was a success, and even writing that the spirit of Babylon is on the earth just before his untimely death. The Babylon working rituals are bizarre enough. The timing of specific events somehow raised the questions as to whether the Moonchild may in fact be Donald Trump. Firstly, Aleister Crowley wrote a letter to his student Grady Lewis McCarthy criticizing Jack and Ron for their attempts at producing this Moonchild, and this letter just so happens to be on the blood moon birthday of Donald Trump on June 14th, 1946. Fast forward to 2018, after which Trump is not president, and the TV series is released about the life of Jack Parsons called Strange Angel. This TV series was released on June 14th, 2018, and the first scene of the entire series was a blood moon. It's really fascinating stuff. Yeah, because these elites on the left hand, they already know. They also watch the signs and the dates, all for their left-handed to praise their left-handed energy, left-handed gods and plans. But the Lord also uses these signs, like the blood moons, to represent here and to represent the destruction He's going to bring to an empire. In this case, it's as America's in its superpower. Esau, Edom, Amalek. You Amalek and you Esau are in your superpower. It's no coincidence here. The Lord uses His signs as well. He uses blood moons as well too in verse. Let me find the verse. The secret verse here, right here, proves it. Before the great and terrible day of the Lord comes, in verse 31, the sun will be turned to darkness. It's a solar eclipse, and the moon to blood. It's a lunar eclipse. In this case, it's also a blood moon. Only a blood moon can only happen in a lunar eclipse before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh, God. So yeah, the Lord uses His signs, and His numerological numbers to also show His symbols as well. This is this God who they are coming up against. Isaiah 14. You who want to ascend your throne into the heavens, but you shall be brought low. Yes, so the Lord's speaking to you, Amalek. He's speaking to you, Esau. Hopefully they watch this fucking video, because this message is for them. The prophets are here to speak to them. The words of Yahweh. And your kingdom's going down soon. And it's also, I also don't find it a coincidence that Trump is the 47th president. Here, if you get Isaiah 47 here, you can get verse 1 here. It says, "Come down and sit on the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne for thee, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." When you jump to verse 3, I'll get verse 2. "And take the millstones and grind meal, and cover the locks, make bare the leg, and cover the thigh, pass over the rivers." Yeah, that's a metaphor for how shameful a woman, a princess, is going to become a servant. It's America becoming the servant. Esau, Edom, his power becoming the servants to us. 3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. This is the best part. I will take vengeance, and I will not beat thee as a man. So this is Isaiah 47, Trump's the 47th president. It's no coincidence. And this is Isaiah 45, because Trump was the 45th president as well, right? Isaiah 45. In the first verse it says, and I will loose the loins of kings to open before him. The two will leave the gates, and the gates shall not be shut. That represents the power that's going to be brought to Israel. The true Israel, not the fake Israel. Oh, never mind. That's going into Cyrus. Never mind. But in the same chapter, you jump down, Isaiah 45. 23, I have sworn by myself that the Lord has gone out of my mouth in righteousness. This is the Lord swearing by himself. Because there's no one else greater to swear by. It means this is going to happen. And it shall not return. The Lord ain't going to change his mind. The Lord is not a man that he should change his mind. That unto me every knee shall bow and every tongue shall swear. Yeah. And that's ultimately the prophecy that's going to happen. That's really what the blood moon represents. And it's ultimately really what this Israel, US, and Iran attacks are about. Versus Ukraine, China, North Korea, Taiwan. It's just gonna lead to the Third World War. It's just what we predict, go based off prophecy, how it looks like it's lining up. What we believe this is gonna lead to. We're in the time where it's gonna lead to closer, near us, and soon it's gonna be a full out, violent, and serious war. Right now it's not that serious, but it is, and it's really the start of it. But it's not the climax of Revelation 11 to 14. It's not the full brunt of that prophecy of a third war. This ain't the full scale violence of what this war is prophesied. We're speaking about for this third war. The Lord says is going to happen, Jacob's trouble, which will lead to Jacob's trouble. Might as well get that. I know I said I was going to close, but this is Jeremiah 30. This is what it's going to lead to. How awful that day will be. No other will be like it. It will be a time of trouble for Jacob, but he will be saved out of it. And this ain't even so this ain't even this situation right now. This ain't even the full brunt of it is this prophecy being fulfilled. America being destroyed. That's the main prophecy. That's the bigger prophecy. Yahushua returning, America being destroyed. And that's what you people don't understand. That's only given to servants and prophets. The Lord revealed his secrets to his servants and prophets. That's what these elites don't believe that's gonna happen, or that which we believe. I believe they've seen it. They've in the whatever rituals they do under their basements, hidden, wherever it is. They've seen it. I believe they've seen it. Their priests, their prophets on the left side, they've told the elites, something's in the way of this. Something's in the way of your plans. There's a man named the man of another world that's gonna come and try to stop your plan. They've seen it, man. They believed it. I believe that. Daniel 12 and says it right here in verse 1 on down. But at the time, your people, everyone whose name, I mean, there up a bit, there would be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of the nations until then. There would be a time of distress such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. Yeah, so that's what this third war is going to be. That's what these elites are bringing. That's what they're planning to fulfill. They're just fulfilling prophecy. They're fulfilling prophecy. They're fulfilling prophecy, and that's something that you fake or these no other prophets out here are speaking about. Okay, because the actual prophets are Moses and Aaron, and you have many Moses and Aarons right now. In this time, it's about 144,000 of them. At that time, it was Moses and Aaron. They were the true prophets of that time. They were connected to the true God. Unlike your Egyptians, they were connected to their false gods, who are no gods. Okay, those are demons. Those are demons. Demons have power, but and that's who these nations worship. But those ain't the true. That ain't the true power. That ain't the true source. They don't want to admit that we are God's people. But they have oppressed us, and their time for judgment is gonna come to them for what they've done. They don't want to admit that. But that's what this is about. It's truly what this is about, man. And they don't even realize that. They're blinded in their power trip, enjoying their wealth and power right now, and what they believe they're gonna fulfill. They're excited and they're happy about it, but they don't realize what they ain't walking up to the reality of what these prophecies are saying. That they are going to be brought into chains. Revelation 14, Revelation 13. This is your reality, Rothschild. This is your reality. Wicked elites. This is what it is. Revelation 13. Amalek. The latter end shall be that you should perish forever. Alright, this is Revelation 13:10. If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to kill with the sword, he will be killed. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. That's what it is. You already brought it out in Isaiah 45. Every knee is going to have to bow. The Lord swore by himself, every knee shall bow. Every tongue confess. You can get that again here, Isaiah 45. 23, I have sworn by myself, the word has gone out of my mouth in righteousness, and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall, unto the Lord every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Surely shall one say, in the Lord have I righteousness and strength. I mean, that's a representation of all nations who are going to praise the Lord. That's what that prophecy is going into. Isaiah 45:24 declares that all true righteousness and spiritual strength come exclusively from the Lord, Yahweh, serving as a confession of faith for those who turn to Him. Oh, okay, this is the point I wanted right here. A universal confession. This is really what it's going to represent. It foreshadows a time when everyone will bow and confess that salvation belongs to God. And also this, the fate of enemies, those incensed against Yahweh, those who oppose His will and sovereign rule. That's you Amalekites, you elites. It says you will be brought to shame and recognize their own weakness. So just like you have your plan to put your throne above the stars of the Most High, he said, I shall be like the Most High. I will ascend above the heights of the Lord. I will sit on the throne of the Most High. Isaiah 14. It's quoting it. I'm not gonna get it. That's going into how you're gonna be ashamed. They're gonna be ashamed for doing that. For trying to do that, trying to implement that. They're doing that right now. You can't deny that. If your eyes are fucking open, unless you're just retarded. Surely you shall once say, in the Lord have I righteousness and strength, even to him shall man come. Every man's gonna come, every nation's gonna come, they're gonna bow to Yahweh. Like right now, these elites want everyone to come into one world government, one world religion, where they are worshiping their idol, Satan. The Lord here, he's already has it planned. He's been had it planned that no, nigga, every nation and every nation's gonna come to one world religion by bowing down to him. The true God, the righteous power, the righteous God, the holy supreme Lord, Father in heaven that created all spirits. And all that are incensed against him shall be ashamed. You're going to be ashamed. You're going to be ashamed of all that drinking baby blood, all that popping children in the a-hole, all that sacrifices and murder and killing and stealing and blood, touching blood that you've committed, you at least committed. You're going to be ashamed for that. All that's going to come to shame. All that's going to come to nothing. 25. And the Lord shall all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory. That says all the seed of Israel, Yashara Allah. Not everybody, just Israel. Israel is going to be lifted up. They're going to be the supreme nation. That's why these wicked Jews, these fake ass Jews over there, they want to be like us, because by them calling themselves Jews in Israel, it shows and represents that they know deep down, they know that Israel is the true power. They're meant to survive. They're meant to rule, and they couldn't put that out of the Bible. They couldn't have the balls to wipe out the Bible and erase that. They had to just compensate by replacing the identity. But at this point, everybody's waking up and everybody's already seeing. If they haven't by now, they're just stupid. But everyone by now has seen that you're not the real people, and more people are waking up to that fact every day. And those that aren't confessing it, deep down they already know it's the fact, man. They're not the real Jews, unless they're just. But most people here in America, they're stupid and occupied, and trash ass food, trash horrible diets, and stupid entertainment that they don't even know what the promise holds, what the prophecy reads, what the keys to the future are. The key of David. It's the key of David. Treasures from above, treasures from below. So I mean that right there. I mean that's really the point. I'll get it closed out with Job. Perfect scripture for this. Job 20 and start at 20. Actually, yeah, I'll start at 16. He shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. The viper's tongue, that's Yahweh Shai, shall slay him. That's going to be the wicked. The wicked is the Esau and Amalek, his whole generation, his whole nation. See, Esau is the progenitor. But out of him came out Amalek, the Germans, the Russians, the Polish, all the other Edomite tribes. You shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. The rivers, that's the blessings, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. The labor, that which he labored for, shall he restore. It's going to the wicked, the Rothschilds, so they're going to restore all that they have, and shall not swallow it down. Meaning you ain't going to really digest it. You're not going to keep it. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Everything he has is going to be taken from him. And 19, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor is the Israelites. It's not talking about Edomites who are poor and homeless or out there begging for money. It's not talking about them. They're not the chosen people. And if you can't see that, well, you're just retarded. How is Esau forsaken and poor when his nation is ruling right now? Doesn't make any fucking sense, does it? But you can have a rich nigga, you can have a rich Mexican out there. There's doesn't mean they're blessed and they're blessing because they're not in their blessing. If they believe that, it's because they're stupid and stubborn and ultimately don't want to admit the truth that they are the Hebrew Israelites. Look at all your celebrities, they know they're Israelites, they know they're Jews, but their people are still fucked up and they got to keep killing their people to keep up in their riches. Yeah, so it shows you the difference, bro. Shows you the difference. So yeah, he has forsaken the poor because he had violently taken away an house which he built not. That house was the land of Israel. Our identity, he's taken away. It says he even takes away, oppresses man in his heritage. And then not only that, but he took the land that we had over here in America, that Gad had, that Issachar had, that Naphtali and all their tribes and all of them had. All of them had, yeah. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, he shall not save that which he desired. All of it's going to be taken once again, all his riches, power, goods, to you Amalekites, you fake Jews, you psychopaths. It says 21, there shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits, every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the figure of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. It's the missiles. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him true. America being destroyed represents Esau's downfall, because that's when Yahushua is going to return. That's the lake of fire. Prophesied and confessed in Revelation 20 and 18 and 17 and other chapters. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword, that's once again the glittering sword, that's the nuclear missiles, cometh out of his gall. The gall is the inside of something. That's the nuclear silo that holds the missile underground. Terrors are upon him. Terrors are going to be upon the land of America, land of Edom, today America, on every side. 200 missiles is a lot of missiles. And that's niggas are going to be partaking that nuclear destruction. And all you wicked ass people, once again, because it said in Isaiah 45, the Lord has declared in righteousness. That's a judgment, justice. Every knee's going to bow. All you niggas are going to bow in a terrible, violent way. And then you're going to come back bowing down in a peaceful way to the Lord. And your nations as well. So anyway, here it says right here, 26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. Job 20:26. Once again, Job 20:26. It is year 20:26. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. Yeah, the Lord has his own numerology there. A fire not blown shall consume him. It's the nuclear missiles. It shall be ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Yeah, destruction of Amalek and Esau. The heavens shall rebuke his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from Yahweh, and the heritage appointed upon him by the power of Yahweh, the Most High. So with that, that's the point. Point has been made. Once again, Esau Amalek has their enterprise is going to be shut down, and that's what we went into today. Shalom and blah blah blah.